Hello, I am Tato Cat, and welcome to my channel. Today we are playing the letter previously. Ashton got called into the precinct, and after a bunch of thinking and whatnot, it turns out Zach is indeed dead, and their whole precinct's trying to figure out how someone got in there without being seen, and Zach's like, well, it's a ghost, but he can't say that. And after all that, he leaves and screams in his car and comes back to the bar, only to find out that Isabella and Becca are fighting. And Becca is still blaming Isabella for the whole thing. Isabella's like, stop being a bitch. And as Becca slams on the table, and G is like, stop this shit, and sends Ashton to go fix everything because these are his friends. And that's pretty much where we left off. Alright, let's continue. Also, after noticing that I got a achievement for Zach's death, I'm pretty sure that means in order to complete this whole game that each and every one of these characters has to die. Yeah, that's gonna be fun to play out. Okay, let's.
I'm the one who's selfish! Yet you're still going to do what you want anyway, even if the people around you are already beside themselves with worry. This is how you've always acted since we met, and I'm tired of it. Sometimes I wish you never even came here, because all you've given us is a headache.
Whoa, too far.
You know why I haven't come here. My dad. Your dad has nothing to do with this. It has always been you and your whiny, careless self that has always been the problem.
Maybe I should have stepped in earlier. Maybe I should have said something the moment Rebecca has slammed the flat of her hand on the table, or the second I entered the area. Either way, it's too late to act. Harsh words have already been hurled between the two. Mostly, Becca has hurled harsh words. Isabella's just like, you didn't listen to me. But Becca's like, you shouldn't have even been here in this country. Everything's your fault. You suck. Okay, here it is. When Ashton showed up at the pub's main lounge again, he caught Rebecca and Isabella in the middle of an argument. The latter insisted on going back to the mansion, which the former still opposed. Strongly opposed. However, before Ashton could step in, harsh words had already been said. Yeah, we should go to the mansion, though. I'm on Isabella's side. How else are we going to find out what's going on? I wonder if I get the choice in taking sides. The ward's more cutting than any blade, each and every one of it digging a wound too deep in the person they've been aimed at. Don't they say the tongue is sharper than any knife or something like that? For a long time, Isabella sits there in silence, while Rebecca stands unmoving, arms crossed, and her breath heavy. Despite the lack of words between them, they're both vibrating with anger, refusing to meet the other's eyes. Ever so slowly, the atmosphere in the room turns thick, and smothering. A strained air no one in the immediate vicinity, including me, dares to break, until the one at its center does so. Rebecca definitely won't, as some point in our friendship, she has grown to become a woman firm with her opinions. She's never going to back down from this, not when she knows she has a point. Her only point is, it's a bit dangerous to go there and you shouldn't go alone. But just go with Isabella. Is it bad to sneak into somebody's house? Yeah. But it's either that or get killed by a ghost. So I still think Isabella's right. Isabella, on the other hand, there's always been a certain stubbornness in her. As frustrating as it is to see, sometimes it's what has gotten her through life's hardships. Perhaps even the only thing that has. When you have nothing else, people tend to cling on to what they have within themselves instead. But she also knows when to withdraw, when a struggle turns useless, a kind of awareness almost second nature to her. When enough is enough, Isabella abruptly stands and marches towards the exit, in fast, rigid steps, away from the hurt and painful words they've left fly earlier. She bumps into me in her haste. The impact nearly knocks her off her feet. Instinct kicks in at the last moment, and I reach out for her, grabbing her arm in a steadying grip. Surprise flits across her face, an expression mirrored by Rebecca behind her. Neither of them have noticed me. I do take a side. Oh. However, that doesn't mean I won't have things to say about this. Take Isabella's side or agree with Rebecca. Like I said, I kind of think we need to go to the mansion. It's not just because I don't like Becca. No? Take Isabella's side. Although Rebecca's going to get super jealous about this. Rather than answer, once her shock subsides, she merely averts her gaze. I'm going to guess that Rebecca's going to be mad at us. Yeah. Rebecca goes down. Isabella's goes all the way up. Yeah, I'm going to read it. Rather than answer, once her shock subsides, she merely averts her gaze and hastily wipes the tears off her cheeks, like she only noticed them in that moment. Then, without another word or even meeting my eyes again, she gently brushes away my hands and runs off, leaving an awkward hush in her wake. Rebecca soon sleeps on the chair Isabella has just left, gingerly reaching up to press the bridge of her nose and breathing out a ragged exhale. Arguments like this have always drained both her patience and energy, usually more than her rowdy students do, despite being no stranger to it. It's no excuse for her to say those things, though, and my disapproval must be clear enough on my face. When she finally glances back at me, her exhaustion immediately shifts back to annoyance. Her mouth curved down to a tight frown. I cross my arms in response, waiting, a reaction verging on instinctive in the face of her irritation. Regardless of my opinions about this, I don't say anything yet, not until she's the one willing to talk. Another minute passes, while we stare each other down, but eventually she breathes out again and relaxes her rigid posture.
What do you want, Ash? If you have something to say, just tell me, or I'm going back upstairs.
Did you really have to say it like that?
Well, how do you want me to answer her? Do you want me to just let her go there and do what she wants? I know you won't be too happy if I did that.
That's a low blow, Rebecca. Even for you. We all know she wasn't even planning on staying here this long. There was no need to bring it up if all you wanted to do is stop her.
Did you even see how she's acting? She's not a child anymore. Even my students can do better.
Becca, she'll listen if you'll just ask her properly. I know you mean well and you do have a point, but please be a little more thoughtful next time. Go think about it for a while.
By some miracle, the whole discussion ends right there. Rebecca elects to stay silent, or at least it's how it seems, when a minute or two passes and she says nothing. A rare occurrence when she almost always has something on her mind. Only an uneasy atmosphere hangs in the air, and I finally decide to remove myself from the room. She doesn't stop me. Instead, something inexplicable flickers momentarily in her eyes, one that quickly disappears until only a vague notion of it remains in memory. But in that one exchange, I've caught a short, clear glimpse of what she's shifted, and what has shifted, of what's inevitable. So much has changed throughout the years. We will never be the same person we once were. And if it's for the better, we've yet to know. Again. A lull has descended in the main lounge once I return. G's nowhere to be seen. People continue to trickle out instead of in, and by the time I go back, only 2 tables remain occupied. Soon these people too will be gone, and the whole place will be devoid of anyone. Frankly, its current state already lends the place an entirely different vibe. Along with the soothing strum of strings and steady beat of drums playing overhead, there's a calming sense to this. A far cry from times I've been here before. And perhaps for this reason why Isabella had chosen this place to retreat. She sits quietly in the furthest corner of the room, in one of the tables set right beside the windows. G usually keeps the curtains closed around this hour, but a small portion of it has been pulled back, revealing the busy streets outside. The late afternoon light spills right through it, outlining her small form and pulling on the surface of the table where both her arms rest. The letter again. What the help me. Send this to 5 people or else ... In her hand, she flips a piece of folded paper, turning it from one side to the other without any purpose. The letter. A small frown creased her forehead while she stares at it, yet there's something oddly tranquil in the picture she has unknowingly painted. Something I can't bring myself to disturb, if only for a few seconds. It's one of those moments again. Rare ones, the ones where she's too still, too quiet, a complete opposite of her usual self. But it's these that often leave a mark. Not her cheery disposition or her lively attitude, but these short few seconds of wordless silence, when the softest sighs and the slightest movement seem louder. The smallest, minuscule things that tell you about the person and her strength more than any words can express. It's these that carve vivid memory, no matter how brief it lasts. She glares at me, annoyed, and just like that, all but melts away. Gone is the stillness, replaced quickly by the teasing and friendly jibes. Back again to what we're used to. What's easy, what's familiar. For every truth we hope to convey regrettably goes unsaid between us.
You're going to destroy an important piece of evidence if you keep doing that, Belle.
But she's far from angry. A bit upset, maybe? Who wouldn't be? While I do agree with Rebecca, her words still hit below the belt. Regardless, Isabella doesn't seem like she'll start shouting at me, at least compared to every other people I've aggravated, intentional or otherwise. Some light talk may just do the trick and coax her out of this mood.
Come on. If you keep staring at the table like that, you're going to bore a hole on it. I really don't want to OG a new table. He'll pick the most expensive one and leave me begging on the streets.
She levels a quick glance at me, her expression dry and impassive enough to drain every color out of the room. It's as if I've just told her a terrible joke, and she's expecting there'll be more of it. Really now. She needs to give me more credit than that. My jokes are funny when I want them to be.
And I really don't care. I'd even take pictures and post them online. Go away, Ash. I don't want to talk right now.
Yet, it sounds half-hearted at best. Like, what's happening has already sapped every bit of energy in her. All that's left are the words. Pretty soon, those two will lose their meaning and leave a hollow shell in their wake. It's already unusual to see her like this. Everything has already gone to shit. I'd like at least this one thing to stay normal. So somehow we manage. We continue for the better half of the hour, talking, joking, with her short, feeble responses and banter that never goes anywhere. But it's enough. In the grand scheme of things, amidst the chaos and death shadowing over us, it's these little inconsequential moments that matter. It's her smile, her laughter. When it finally rings, easy and free of her burden.
Okay, I have another one.
I don't want to hear it, Ashton. Go away.
No, really, listen. I know someone who talks like an owl.
Will you leave me alone if I bite and ask who?
A pause. And then she frowns as realization slowly dawns on her. Confusion flashes fleetingly across her face before eventually settling on a grimace.
Oh.
Suddenly, she hugs her arms closer to herself and looks away, perhaps her best attempt to stay angry. To no avail. In a matter of seconds, her shoulders shake with laughter. She's trying to contain.
You're awful and I really hate you! Just leave!
It's contagious, her mirth. Soon I'm joining her in it, briefly forgetting every problem that has piled up and continues to weigh down on us. So these two still don't know that Zach is dead. Okay, that's going to be interesting how we're going to tell them that. Laughing without reservation or care until only a familiar warmth lingers once both our amusement ebbs away. Somehow with her, these things have always come easy.
Feeling better?
A little. You're still lame.
But you're laughing right now.
Only because your humor is terrible.
Right. Keep telling yourself that. I know it's funny. And you know what? If you've kept frowning like that, your face might have cracked. That would have been really messy and ugly.
If flares can kill, with the one she sends my way, I'll probably be dead by now. Seeing it directed in my way, it takes only a few quick seconds for me to realize how she might have also taken my statement. How wrong and rude it might have sounded in her ears, however unintentional it is. I've never been good with words, but that's never an acceptable excuse, is it? Suddenly, taking the brunt of her anger seems less complicated than correcting or explaining myself. Nevertheless, I try.
What? God, crap. Damn it, that was so not what I meant.
Oh, Ashton.
I was just saying you look better when you're smiling.
What to do with you? Her glare doesn't even wane. In fact, I think it intensifies like the brewing storm. In the face of it, under the sharpness of her stare and her annoyance, I do what any person with a good sense of self-preservation does. Keep my mouth shut and shift my attention elsewhere. The crowd outside looks very interesting today. Maybe I should...
Thanks, Ash.
She utters all of it in a voice too small, too quiet. When I turn to her, only those words, her gratitude, resonate throughout the whole room. Not the soft clinking of silverware somewhere, nor the last strains of music fading into a silence above us. Instead, it's the meaning behind her gaze, as she holds mine, that lingers. Steady, unflinching, and open, in the same way she looked at me all those years ago, with bright eyes and expression softening into a tender smile. I didn't understand it then. How easy it is for her to wear her heart on her sleeve. How she never shies away from expressing herself, even among people she barely knows. How she can go through everything without losing herself. Now it's among the hundreds, the thousands that hang unspoken between us. Trivial little things with worth still too big to put into words. Either because it's too early, or because there's never really proper time. For now, though, this'll do. Until the moment itself dwindles. Until reality pulls us back, reminding us that things we've set aside in its favor.
Isabella, about what happened with Rebecca earlier.
I should probably apologize to Becca. I know she only means well. And I said some really bad things.
The corners of her mouth quirks up as if she's too ashamed of the things she's said.
Don't worry, she can be pretty stubborn, but she'll listen, especially to you.
You think?
Because Zach won't be with us anymore.
Okay, that's not what he says. Here it says, You're one of the few people she likes. What you just said was, because Zach won't be here with us anymore. Huh. Is that his inner dialogue, or was that just a game error?
She won't stay angry for long. I can vouch for it.
She has a point, though. Isabella freezes in an instant. The pleasant air around us dissipates. She shifts her attention back to her hands again, both clenched so tightly that her knuckles visibly fail.
I know, Ash. I just thought we'd find something in there. That if I go back, we'll get the answers we need. I found the letter there, so maybe, right?
It's not that I don't agree with her. Hell, I've been considering the same thing. It's the only lead we have after all. But Rebecca's also has a point I will agree with. No matter how desperate I am, it's not going to be a simple walk in the park. Who knows what we might find in there? If she comes with me, I won't be able to guarantee her safety. She'll be in even greater danger. Hence, alone. If there's a need to go back to that accursed place, I'm doing it on my own. Whether or not the rest of them agree with this plan is inconsequential. Their well-being is my top priority, and I'm not just about to drag them there with me. So, I tell her as much, despite the determination and desperation in her eyes. Anything to keep her safe. It's dangerous. I can't let you do that. Ha! I don't like either of these options. They are both very similar. She knows it's dangerous. And also, I can't let you do that. It doesn't sound... I feel like I want to choose the wrong one. I want to say it's dangerous.
Forget it, Belle. You're not going back to that mansion.
Okay, so what happened? Oh no, she likes us less.
But Ash, what about...
This isn't up for debate. Do you really think they'll just let you in? Do you really think they'll give a damn if you walk in there carrying that stupid letter of all things?
No, but there has to be something we can tell them. Ash, they were with me during the open house. They have to know. They're in as much trouble as we are. They're living in that place. That ghost woman came from there. Both her and the letter. Something's in that house, Ash. And whatever it hides might be the only thing that'll get us out of this mess.
All right. Suppose you do find an answer there. What happens? Let's say that by some dumb luck, you got inside and found something. I don't even have to bring up what they did to Zach. In fact, what they'll do to you is the least of our problems. What if you see her again? What if she goes after you? What are you going to do?
It's not like we have any other choice. Besides, I'm pretty sure you've already thought of the same thing. Admit it.
Yeah, Ash did. But also, what is Ash going to do? Not shoot at her? He didn't do it the last time. And when he did shoot at her, nothing happened.
That doesn't mean I'm going to let you run straight into trouble. What you're planning to do is risky. For you. Give it up, Isabella. Zach's already gone! And if you...
Oh, what a way to tell her. Realization comes way too late, and my throat closes up as soon as I realize what has just slipped out of my mouth. There was supposed to be a speech, damn it. Words carefully picked to ease people into the idea, especially her, who has always seen Zach as that decent older brother she never had, as family. The way her expression shifts from terror to disbelief, into anguish makes the horrible lump in my throat feel more unpleasant. There's a sorrow in it, palpable enough as the meaning of what I've said sinks in, a pain I can't even hope to understand, one that we'll all deal with in our own ways. And she just lost her dad too. That was a terrible way of finding out. I can't even bring myself to look at her straight in the eye. Unexpectedly, Isabella merely clams up. No resistance, no further arguments, like I've come to expect from her. Okay, we'll end this episode here. We shall see how this ends with her finding out in the next episode. I am Tita Cat. Have a wonderful morning, evening, afternoon.